think you can come to this house and be wealthier than my husband and I? You think your life would be better than mine in my own compound?
Those were
Never.
her words that afternoon when every tenant had gone to work. Her voice cut through the hot sun like a knife. She poured the sand into the coffin, shaking it like she was mixing poison. She thought no one saw her, but someone did. Before we continue, please comment where you are watching from, subscribe, like, and share this video. What happened next will make you check on your neighbors and landlady. If you think renting a house is just about paying your bills on time, you need to hear this story. In a lively, bustling city on the outskirts of Lagos, there was a compound named Peace Haven Lodge. But there was no peace there. None at all. The compound had 6 rooms facing each other like enemies ready to fight. In the middle was a small courtyard where tenants washed clothes and cooked on small stoves when the power went out, which was almost every day. Chickens pecked at the ground, looking for food. Children played football with a deflated ball that barely bounced, and everyone pretended they didn't see the way Madam Titi watched them. Madam Titi was the landlady. Her full name was Madam Teresa Okong, but tenants preferred calling her Madam Titi. She was a short woman with skin like dried leather and eyes that never seemed to blink. She wore the same faded blue wrapper every single day, and her hair was always covered with a black scarf tied so tight it pulled at the corners of her eyes, making her look like she was always angry. Her husband, Mr. Okong, was completely different. He was tall and quiet, always reading newspapers in the evening while smoking his pipe. He seemed kind. He would greet the tenants warmly, asking about their families and their work. But he never ever disagreed with his wife. Not once, not even when she was clearly wrong. Tenants kept packing in and packing out of the compound. Some stayed for a few months. Others left after just weeks. But no one ever said why they were leaving in such a hurry. In the busy city of Ajegunle, there lived an ambitious girl named Amarachi. She was born into a simple family. Her parents loved her very much and always taught her to work hard and trust in God. They didn't have much money, but they had dreams, big, beautiful dreams. And Amarachi? She had talent, real talent. She could turn ordinary cloth into magic with just a needle and thread. When she sewed, it was like she was painting pictures with fabric. Driven by ambition, she decided to rent a small apartment, a place she could manage, while saving up to open her own tailor shop. After searching for a while, she finally found one in the next city, not too far from home. On a scorching Tuesday afternoon in March, Amarachi moved into Peace Haven Lodge, her new beginning in the heart of the city. She was 26 years old, a seamstress with dreams bigger than her 2 cardboard boxes and worn traveling bag. She carried everything she owned up the dusty pathway, sweat dripping down her face like rainwater. But she was smiling. Finally, she thought, a place to start building my future. "Welcome, my dear," Mr. Okong had said, helping her with one box. His smile seemed genuine. "You will like it here. We are all one family." Madam Titi stood in the doorway of their own room, arms folded across her chest, watching. She didn't say welcome. She didn't smile. She just stared at Amarachi with those unblinking eyes, like she was counting something in her head, like she was calculating something dangerous. The first week was quiet. Amarachi kept to herself, waking up early to sew, going to deliver clothes to her customers, coming back tired but hopeful. The other tenants were friendly enough. There was Mama Ego in room 1, who sold vegetables at the market. Brother Emeka in room 2, who drove a taxi from morning till night. Sister Blessing in room 3, who was a hairdresser with a small salon inside her room. And in the rooms opposite, there were others, Uncle Joseph, Auntie Ngozi, and Sister Patricia. But Amarachi noticed something strange about Sister Patricia. Every time Amarachi bought something new, a standing fan, a small TV, even just a new wrapper, Sister Patricia would stand by her door and stare. Her face would twist with something ugly. Jealousy, maybe, or pure hatred. "Look at this one," Sister Patricia would mutter loud enough for everyone to hear. "She just moved here and she's already buying big things. Where is she getting money from? What kind of work is she doing? Is it only sewing that pays this much?" The way she said work made it sound dirty, like she was accusing Amarachi of doing something shameful. Amarachi would ignore her. She knew jealousy when she saw it. Her grandmother had warned her about people like this, people who smile with their mouths but curse you with their hearts. But then, things started going wrong. First, it was small things. Her slippers disappeared from outside her door. Then her bucket vanished into thin air. One evening, she cooked jollof rice delicious, red and perfect, with chicken and fried plantain. She left it on the small stove outside to cool while she went inside to bathe. When she came back, the pot was knocked over. Rice was scattered all over the ground like someone had swept it there. The chicken was completely gone. "Rat," Madam Titi said, appearing suddenly from the shadows like she had been waiting to say those exact words. "A big rat knocked it over. You should be more careful where you leave your food." But Amarachi had seen Sister Patricia's children eating chicken that same evening. Fresh, hot chicken, and those children never ate chicken. Their mother could barely afford to buy them rice. "Why are these things happening to me?" Amarachi asked Mama Ego quietly one day while they washed clothes together at the compound tap. Mama Ego looked around nervously, like someone might be hiding in the bushes listening. Then she whispered, "My dear, just be careful. Madam Titi doesn't like it when people are doing well. I've been here 5 years. I've seen people come and go. Anyone who starts doing well in this compound, trouble will follow them like a shadow." "What do you mean?" Amarachi asked, her heart beginning to beat faster. But Mama Ego just shook her head and walked away quickly, her wrapper dragging in the wet ground, leaving Amarachi standing there with more questions than answers. 2 weeks later, something amazing happened. Amarachi got her biggest sewing contract yet. A rich woman from Victoria Island wanted 20 matching dresses for her daughter's wedding. Beautiful dresses. Expensive dresses. The money was good, very good. Enough to finally rent a small shop and stop working from her tiny room. Amarachi was so happy she couldn't sleep. She worked day and night, her sewing machine humming like a happy song until midnight. The dresses were beautiful purple lace with gold threading, beads shining like stars in the night sky. But Sister Patricia wasn't happy. Not at all. "Look at her, sewing machine making noise every night." Sister Patricia Patricia complained loudly to Madam Titi one morning, making sure Amarachi could hear every word. She thinks she's better than everyone. She thinks she's going to become a big woman. She thinks she'll leave this compound and go and live in Lekki. We will see. We will see if her big dreams will come true. Madam Titi's eyes got that strange look, the one that made Amarachi's skin crawl like ants were walking on it. Don't worry, Madam Titi said quietly, but Amarachi heard her. Pride comes before a fall, and some people, their fall will be very, very painful. That afternoon, Amarachi went to the market to buy more thread and lace for the final touches on the dresses. She was smiling, humming gospel songs, thanking God for the blessing. When she came back and opened her door, she screamed so loud the entire compound heard her. Her room was destroyed, completely destroyed. Amarachi's room was destroyed, her mattress torn, clothes scattered and trampled, and her sewing machine broken. Someone poured dirty water with ash on her bed, ruining her wedding dresses, 20 beautiful purple ones, leaving them soaked and covered in mud and ash, all 20 of them. Amarachi fell to her knees and cried. She cried so hard her whole body shook like she was having a seizure. 3 weeks of work, 3 weeks of no sleep, all that money she was supposed to get gone. Just gone. She heard laughter outside. When she looked through her window with tears blurring her vision, she saw Sister Patricia whispering to Madam Titi. Both of them were smiling, actually smiling at her pain. Amarachi stormed outside, tears still running down her face like a river. "Who did this?" she shouted, her voice cracking. "Who came into my room and destroyed everything I worked for?" The compound went completely silent. Everyone stopped what they were doing. Children stopped playing. Women stopped cooking. Even the chickens seemed to freeze. Madam Titi walked toward her slowly, that same twisted smile on her face, like she was enjoying every second of Amarachi's suffering. "Are you shouting in my compound?" Madam Titi asked, her voice dangerously quiet. "Are you standing here accusing me and my tenants?" "Someone destroyed my things," Amarachi cried, her voice breaking. "Someone ruined the dresses I was sewing. Do you know how much money I will lose? Do you know what this means for me?" "Maybe a rat entered your room," Madam Titi said, and Sister Patricia laughed out loud. "Or maybe you're just careless. You young girls, you think you can come here and become big women overnight. You think life is easy. Life doesn't work like that. You have to suffer first." "I didn't do anything to anyone," Amarachi shouted, her chest heaving. "Why are you people treating me like this? What did I do wrong? Is it a crime to work hard?" Mr. Okong appeared from their room, pipe in hand, looking confused. "What is all this noise?" he asked calmly, like nothing serious was happening. "This girl is shouting at your wife," Sister Patricia said quickly, pointing at Amarachi like she was a criminal. "She's being very disrespectful, very rude." Mr. Okong looked at Amarachi. For a moment, just a brief moment, she thought she saw pity in his eyes. But then he shook his head slowly. "You should apologize to my wife," he said quietly, his voice firm. "She's your landlady. You must show respect, no matter what. Amarachi couldn't believe what she was hearing. Her room was destroyed. Her work was ruined. Her future was crumbling. And they wanted her to apologize? But she had nowhere else to go. She had already paid 6 months' rent in advance. Every kobo she had. So she swallowed her tears, her pride, her anger. She bowed her head and whispered, "I'm sorry, Ma." Madame Titi smiled a cold Victoria smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Good," she said. "Now go and clean your room. And next time, lock your door properly. Or better yet, don't buy things that will make people jealous. Stay in your level." But Amarachi knew her door had been locked. She had checked it twice. Someone had a key. Someone had wanted to destroy her life. And she was beginning to understand who for 3 days. Amarachi didn't leave her room except to fetch water. She couldn't face anyone. She couldn't eat. She couldn't sleep. She had called the rich woman and confessed through tears that the dresses were ruined. The woman was furious. She shouted at Amarachi, called her unprofessional, careless, useless. She refused to pay anything, not even for the expensive materials Amarachi had bought with her own money. Amarachi was broke, completely broke. She had 20 naira left to her name, 20 naira in the whole world. Days turned into weeks. Amarachi tried to find work, but something strange kept happening. Every opportunity would appear, then disappear like smoke. Every door that opened would slam shut in her face. Her money finished completely. She began to beg for food. Mama Eagle would sneak her some rice sometimes. Brother Emeka gave her 1,000 naira once. But mostly, Amarachi was hungry. So hungry her stomach hurt all the time. Her clothes began to hang loose on her shrinking body. Her eyes sank deep into her face. Her skin lost its glow. She looked like a ghost. One afternoon, around 12 noon, hunger drove Amarachi outside. The sun was blazing hot, the kind of heat that makes your head spin and the air shimmer like water. The compound was completely empty and silent. Everyone had gone to work or market. Even the children were in school. Amarachi was planning to go buy pure water, the only thing her last 20 naira could afford. But as she stepped outside, she felt dizzy. The world tilted. She had to lean against the wall to steady herself. That's when she noticed something strange. Near the backyard, the place where people threw broken furniture and old clothes, the place nobody ever visited because it smelled bad and had tall grass, there was movement. A shadow. Someone was there. Something told Amarachi to stay quiet. Some voice in her spirit whispered, "Hide. Don't let anyone see you." So she pressed herself against the wall, behind an old cloth hanging on a line, and watched through a small gap. What she saw made her blood run cold. It was Madame Titi. The landlady was bent down in the backyard, wearing only her faded wrapper and an old blouse. Her headscarf was gone. Her hair was wild and uncombed, and in her hands was sand, fresh sand, reddish-brown sand with small stones in it. Amarachi's heart began to pound so loud she was afraid Madame Titi would hear it. But she couldn't move, couldn't look away. Madame Titi was whispering. Her lips were moving fast, speaking words that made the hot afternoon air feel suddenly cold. Words that made Amarachi's skin crawl. You think you can come to this house and be more prosperous than my husband and I? Madame Titi hissed at the sand in her palm. You think your life will shine brighter than mine in my own compound? Her voice was full of hatred. Pure, thick hatred that sounded like poison. Then Amarachi saw it. Behind Madame Titi was a coffin. Madame Titi opened the coffin with shaking hands, carrying sand in her palm. Her voice cut through the hot sun like a knife. Madame Titi lifted Amarachi's sand high above the coffin. She poured the sand into the coffin slowly, like she was performing a sacred ritual. Then she shook the coffin 3 times. Once, twice, 3 times. With each shake, she danced a little, like she was celebrating, like she was at a party. It is done, Madame Titi said, closing the coffin with a loud snap. Your matter is finished. That's when Amarachi gasped. She couldn't help it. The sound just came out. Madame Titi's head snapped up so fast it looked like her neck would break. Their eyes met for one long, terrible moment. Everything stopped. The world held its breath. Amarachi saw shock flash across Madame Titi's face. Then anger. Then something much, much worse, pure murderous rage. You, Madame Titi whispered, standing up slowly, still clutching the coffin. You saw me. Amarachi couldn't speak, couldn't move. Her legs felt like they were made of water. You have seen what you should not have seen, Madame Titi said, walking toward her now, her steps slow and deliberate. Do you know what this means? Do you know what I have to do now? I didn't see anything, Amarachi stammered, finally finding her voice. I was just passing. Liar, Madame Titi screamed, and her face twisted into something that didn't look human anymore. You saw everything. You saw my coffin. You heard my words. She took another step closer, her eyes blazing. Now I have to finish you completely. You think anyone will believe you if you tell them? You think my husband will choose you over me? You foolish girl. This coffin already has your sand. Your destiny's already buried. All I need to do now is add one more thing, and you will die within 7 days. Amarachi's body finally obeyed her mind. She turned and ran. She ran so fast her slippers fell off, but she didn't stop. She could hear Madame Titi shouting behind her, cursing her, calling her name. Amarachi ran to her room, slammed the door, pushed her box against it with all her remaining strength, and collapsed on the floor. Her whole body was shaking violently. Her teeth were chattering even though it was hot. She had seen evil with her own eyes, real, living evil. And that evil now knew she had seen it. Amarachi didn't sleep that night. How could she? Every sound made her jump. Every shadow looked like Madame Titi coming to finish what she started. By morning, Amarachi had made a decision. She had to leave. She had to run away from this compound before Madame Titi killed her. But she had no money, nowhere to go. No family in Lagos. Still, staying here meant death. She was sure of it now. She waited until she heard Madame Titi and Mr. Okon leave the compound. They went to the market every Wednesday morning. Then she quickly packed her few belongings into her travelling bag. She was dragging the bag toward the gate when Mama Ego appeared from her room. Where are you going? Mama Ego asked. her eyes wide with worry. "I have to leave, Mama," Amarachi whispered, tears already filling her eyes. "I can't stay here. She's going to kill me." "Who? What are you talking about?" "Madam Titi. I saw her yesterday. I saw what she does with sand and a coffin. She's been burying people's destinies. That's why nothing works for anyone in this compound." "That's why? You saw the coffin?" Mama Eagle's face went completely white. She grabbed Amarachi's arm so tight it hurt. "You saw it? Oh my God! Oh my God! Mama, you're hurting me. Come inside. Now, right now." Mama Eagle dragged Amarachi into her room and locked the door. Inside, the older woman was shaking, pacing back and forth. "You can't just run away," Mama Eagle said. "If your sand is already in that coffin and you run, you'll die on the road. You'll collapse somewhere and nobody will know why. That's what happened to my daughter." Amarachi felt her knees go weak. Your daughter?" And that's when Mama Eagle told her everything. The whole story about Choma, about the scholarship, about how her daughter had seen Madam Titi's ritual and tried to escape, about how she collapsed at the gate and died before reaching the hospital. "They said it was heart failure," Mama Eagle sobbed. "But my daughter's heart was strong. She was only 22. It was that coffin, that evil coffin killed her." Amarachi sank onto Mama Eagle's bed, hopeless. "Then what do I do? If I stay, she'll kill me. If I leave, I'll die. What do I do?" Mama Eagle wiped her tears and took a deep breath. "There's only one person who can help you now," she said. "Only God and fearlessness. I will join you in prayers for 3 days. And during those 3 days, you have to stay alive. You have to avoid Madam Titi. Don't eat anything she gives you. Don't drink anything from this compound. Stay in your room as much as possible." 3 days? Amarachi's voice shook. "Madam Titi said I would die in 7 days. What if 3 days is too long?" "It's our only hope," Mama Eagle said firmly. "I'll pray in my room while you pray too. But you must be strong, very strong. You must pray like you've never prayed before." Those 3 days felt like 3 years. Amarachi barely left her room. When she had to fetch water, she would peek outside first, making sure Madam Titi wasn't around. But Madam Titi was everywhere. The landlady had changed. Her eyes followed Amarachi constantly. Her smile had become sharper, more dangerous. On the first day, Madam Titi knocked on Amarachi's door around noon. "Amarachi, my daughter, open the door. I brought you some food. I know you haven't been eating well." Amarachi's heart nearly stopped. She pressed herself against the wall, not making a sound. "I said, open this door." Madam Titi's voice changed, became harder. "Or are you afraid of me? Why would you be afraid of me unless you did something wrong?" Amarachi stayed silent, holding her breath. After what felt like forever, Madam Titi's footsteps walked away. But Amarachi heard her whisper, 3 more days. Just 3 more days and you'll be gone." On the second day, Amarachi woke up feeling sick. Her head was pounding. Her body felt heavy, like someone was sitting on her chest. She could barely breathe. She tried to get up, but fell back down. The room was spinning. "Is this it?" she thought. Is this how I die? Then she remembered her fast and prayer was ending tomorrow. She had to hold on to see what God would do for her. Just one more day. She forced herself to pray, even though the words came out weak and broken. Slowly, very slowly, the heaviness began to lift. The room stopped spinning. She could breathe again. On the third day, around 7 a.m., she collapsed. It was as if she wouldn't wake up. Finally, she did. She rushed to Mama Ego's house. When she pushed open the door, she found Mama Ego lying lifeless on the floor. With that same desperate spirit in her, Amarachi grabbed Mama Ego's hand and lifted her up with strength she didn't know she had. Fortunately, Mama Ego survived. She opened her eyes, gasping for air. "We have to go," Mama Ego whispered urgently, still weak. "Now, to the backyard. She's there now, doing the ritual. The coffin is open." Immediately, both of them ran to the backyard where Amarachi had seen Madame Titi performing the ritual before. And there it was, the coffin, sitting in the tall grass, open, no longer closed. Amarachi sat down beside it, and immediately tears started falling. She couldn't stop them. "Is it wrong to be a tenant?" she cried. "What wrong have I done to deserve this?" Mama Ego knelt beside her and started consoling her. "Cry, my daughter," Mama Ego whispered, her own tears falling. "Cry out all the pain. But after you finish crying, we have work to do. We have to fight back." Amarachi looked up at her with swollen eyes. "How, Mama? How do we fight this? She has powers. She has evil on her side. What do we have?" "We have truth," Mama Ego said firmly, wiping Amarachi's tears with the edge of her wrapper. "We have courage. And most importantly, we have God. Those three things are stronger than any coffin, any sand, any curse." She looked at the open coffin sitting there. Inside, the coffee and sand mixture was clearly visible, different colors all mixed together, that terrible smell rising from it. "This coffin is our evidence," Mama Ego said, her voice getting stronger. "This is the proof we need. But we can't just take it and run. We need witnesses. We need everyone to see what she's been doing." "But Mama, what if they don't believe us?" Amarachi asked. Mama Ego helped Amarachi stand up. "Listen to me carefully," Mama Ego said. "Evil only survives in darkness. The moment you bring it into the light, it begins to die. We are going to shine light on this evil so bright that Madame Titi will have nowhere to hide." "What do you want me to do?" "We're going to set a trap," Mama Ego said, checking her old watch. "It's still early morning. In a few hours, around 12 noon, Madame Titi will come here again to do her ritual, just like she does every day when everyone is at work. But today will be different. Today, we'll have witnesses waiting." "How?" "Everyone will be at work." "Not everyone," Mama Ego said. "Brother Emeka is home sick today. His taxi is parked outside. Sister Blessing closes her salon for lunch around noon. Uncle Joseph works night shift, so he's home now. That's 3 witnesses besides us." Mama Ego closed the coffin carefully and pushed it back exactly where it was, covering it with dried leaves so Madame Titi wouldn't suspect anything. "Stay here and hide," Mama Ego instructed Amarachi. I'm going to bring the others. When Madam Titi comes, they'll see everything with their own eyes. Then she can't deny it. Then even Mr. Okon will have to believe. Mama Ego moved quickly, going from door to door. First, Brother Emeka, then Sister Blessing, then Uncle Joseph. She told each of them the same thing. I know why you've been suffering. I know why nothing works for you in this compound. Come with me and see the truth. Something in her voice, the urgency, the certainty, made them follow without too many questions. By 11:45 a.m., all 5 of them were hidden in the backyard behind thick bushes. Mama Ego, Amarachi, Brother Emeka, Sister Blessing, and Uncle Joseph. What are we doing here? Brother Emeka whispered. I'm sick. I should be resting. You'll understand soon, Mama Ego said. Just watch and stay quiet. They waited. The sun climbed higher. The heat became unbearable. Sweat poured down their faces, but nobody moved. Then, exactly at 12 noon, they heard footsteps. It was Madam Titi. She came through the tall grass, wearing only her faded wrapper and old blouse and her black scarf. Her hair was wild, and in her hand was a bowl of fresh sand. Brother Emeka's eyes widened. Sister Blessing covered her mouth with her hand. Madam Titi went straight to the coffin, pulled it out from under the tire, and opened it. The smell hit the hidden witnesses. Several had to cover their noses. Madam Titi held the bowl of sand up and began speaking, her voice sharp and filled with hatred. You think you can succeed in my compound? You think your life will be better than mine? Never. I bury your destiny today. Her voice cut through the hot sun like a knife. She lifted the sand high above the coffin and poured it in slowly, shaking the coffin 3 times while dancing. It is done, she said with satisfaction. Your matter is finished. Brother Emeka couldn't hold it anymore. What are you doing? He shouted. Jumping out from behind the bush, Madam Titi screamed and spun around, dropping the coffin. Her face went from shock to panic, to rage, when she saw all 5 of them emerging from their hiding places. You, she shrieked. What are you people doing here? You should all be at work. We came to see the truth, Mama Ego said, stepping forward. And now we've seen it. You saw nothing. Madam Titi grabbed the coffin desperately. Get out of my backyard. Not until you explain what that is, Brother Emeka said, his voice shaking with anger. What is in that coffin? None of your business. Open it, Uncle Joseph said quietly but firmly. If there's nothing evil in there, open it and show us. Sister Blessing was already calling Mr. Okon. Please come to the backyard immediately. Your wife. There's something you need to see. No! Madam Titi lunged for the phone, but Uncle Joseph blocked her. 15 minutes later, Mr. Okon arrived, confused and worried. What is going on? He demanded, looking at the strange scene, his wife clutching a small black coffin, 5 tenants surrounding her, everyone's faces showing shock and anger. Ask your wife what she's been doing every afternoon when we're all at work, Mama Ego said quietly. Mr. Okon looked at his wife. Titi? What is that thing you're holding? It's nothing, Madam Titi said quickly. They're lying. They want to destroy my name. Then put it down, Mr. Okon said. If it's nothing, put it down. Madam Titi's hands tightened around the coffin. She didn't put it down. Mr. Okon walked closer. Give it to me. Okon, please, give it to me. The force in his voice made Madame Titi flinch. Slowly, she handed him the coffin. Mr. Ocon opened it. The smell hit him first. Then he saw the contents coffee mixed with different coloured sands, strange herbs, things that made his stomach turn. He stared at it for a long moment, then looked up at his wife with tears in his eyes. "How long?" he whispered. Madame Titi's lips trembled. She said nothing. "How long?" Mr. Ocon's voice cracked. Under the weight of 5 pairs of accusing eyes and her husband's breaking heart, the truth finally poured out of Madame Titi like poison from a wound. She confessed everything. The years of rituals, the stolen sand from doorsteps, the buried destinies, the curses spoken over innocent people. She even confessed about Mama Ego's daughter, Chioma, and how the girl had died trying to escape. When she finished, the only sound was Mama Ego's quiet sobbing. "You killed my child," Mama Ego whispered through her tears. "You killed my baby." Mr. Ocon set the coffin down like it burned his hands. He looked at his wife, this stranger wearing his wife's face, and something died in his eyes. "Pack your things," he said, his voice completely empty. "You have 1 hour." "Ocon, 1 hour?" he repeated. "Then you leave this compound and never come back. If you're still here after 1 hour, I will call the police and tell them everything you just confessed. Your choice." Madame Titi looked around at all the faces staring at her with disgust and hatred. There was no mercy anywhere, no sympathy, just the consequences of her wickedness staring back at her. She walked away slowly, hunched over like an old woman, broken and defeated. After Madame Titi left, Mama Ego called a pastor from a nearby church. He came with 2 prayer warriors. They gathered all the tenants, even the ones who had been at work, came back when they heard what happened. The pastor looked at the coffin and shook his head sadly. "This is deep darkness," he said, "but darkness cannot stand in the presence of light." He instructed each tenant to reach into the coffin and remove their own sand. "You'll know which sand is yours," he said. "Trust your spirit." One by one, they came forward. Brother Emeka reached in and pulled out black sand, the same color as the soil near his room by the big tree. The moment he touched it, he felt something release in his chest. Sister Blessing took out red sand mixed with small stones. Uncle Joseph took out brown sand. Auntie Ngozi took out grey sand. Mama Ego came forward with tears streaming down her face. She reached in and took out golden yellow sand, the same sand from her daughter's old room. "For you, Chioma," she sobbed, holding the sand to her chest. "I'm setting you free, my baby. Rest now. Rest in peace." She walked to the gate and threw the sand as far as she could, screaming her daughter's name into the air. Finally, it was Amarachi's turn. She knelt before the coffin, trembling. She reached inside and immediately felt her sand reddish-brown with small white stones. The moment her fingers touched it, she felt chains breaking inside her chest, like a heavy door opening, like she could finally breathe properly. She scooped out every grain, making sure nothing was left. Then she stood and walked to the compound gate. She looked up at the sky and whispered, "Thank you, God." Then she threw her sand into the wind with all her strength. The pastor poured anointing oil over the coffin and set it on fire. It burned with a terrible sound, hissing and popping like something alive was dying inside it. Black smoke rose up, thick and choking. When the fire finally died, nothing was left but ashes. "It is finished," the pastor said. "The curse is broken. Your destinies are free." 6 months passed like a beautiful dream. Amarachi's life changed so completely, it felt like she was living someone else's story. 3 days after Madame Titi left, a woman approached Amarachi at the market. "Are you a seamstress?" "Yes, ma. I need someone to sew for my boutique. Can you help?" This time, when Amarachi went back the next day, the woman remembered her. The job was real. The door stayed open. Within weeks, money started coming in. Within months, Amarachi had enough to rent a small shop on the main road. The sign above her door read, "Amara's Fashion House, where dreams come to life." She employed 3 young girls and trained them for free, teaching them everything she knew. Brother Emeka's taxi business exploded. He bought 2 more taxis. Sister Blessing's salon became the most popular in the area. Uncle Joseph got promoted to bank manager. Mama Ego's vegetable business tripled. Everyone who had been trapped was now flying. Mr. Okon transformed Peacehaven Lodge. He painted everything white, planted flowers, fixed the pipes, and changed the name to New Beginning Lodge. "Because that's what this place is now," he told the tenants. "A place where people can actually have new beginnings." As for Madame Titi, Mr. Okon received 1 letter from her 6 months later. She was in the village, living with her elderly mother, working on a farm. The letter said she had gone for deliverance at a church and spent 3 months having evil spirits cast out of her. "I'm sorry," the letter said. "I know sorry doesn't fix anything, but I wanted you to know the real me is sorry. Tell Mama Ego I can never undo what I did to her daughter. Tell Amarachi I'm glad she survived. I don't ask for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I just wanted you to know that I'm trying to be human again." Mr. Okon read the letter to the tenants one evening. When he finished, there was silence. Then Mama Ego spoke. "I will never forgive her for killing my Chioma," she said quietly. "Never. But I'm releasing her from my heart. She's God's problem now, not mine." Today, 2 years after that terrible afternoon in the backyard, Amarachi stands in her fashion house now with 3 locations across Lagos and tells her story to anyone who will listen. "Evil tried to bury me," she always says. But evil didn't know that buried seeds don't die. They grow. The lessons are simple but powerful. Evil can delay you, but it cannot stop what God has written for your life. Before you rent a house, pray. Visit at different times. Ask questions. Trust your spirit when something feels wrong. Not everyone who smiles at you wishes you well. Some people wear kindness like a mask. When you catch evil, expose it. Don't protect it. Evil grows in darkness and dies in light. If this story touched your heart, do 3 things right now. Hit that like button. Let's get to 50,000 likes so more people can see this testimony. Share this video on WhatsApp, Facebook, everywhere. Someone needs to hear this today. You might save someone's life. Subscribe to this channel. We have more true African folk tales about real people who face darkness and won. Comment below. Where are you watching from? Have you experienced something strange in a place you rented? What lesson from this story hit you hardest? Until next time, may God protect you from every evil eye, every jealous neighbor, every wicked landlord, and every coffin with your name on it. We'll see you in the next story. God bless you.